Enter the Agojie and True Story of Woman King. The Woman King creates an epic tale about the Agojie, an all-female band of warriors, by weaving real history and fantasy together. Many historical films inevitably alter the facts in order to improve the tale for the screen. However, The Woman King's stellar ensemble does a great job of bringing to life both the made-up and actual inhabitants of the Dahomey realm. The detailed details in the movie are where the liberties are taken, even though the overall history of the Woman King is accurate. The events of the movie take place in 1823, when Dahomey, striving to break free from its tributary obligations to the Oyo Empire under the rule of King Gezo, it's a real component. Successfully severing his links with Dahomey's adversary was the true King Gezo. This component is the real deal. In the year represented in the movie, the actual King Gezo was successful in severing his links with Dahomey's adversary, although romanticized for the movie. General Naniska, played by Viola Davis, probably didn't hold the same views on slave selling as the actual Agojie generals of the time. By extension, despite Naniska and Nawi have names with real Agojie, they are fictitious characters. Nawi is her protege and a warrior in training. The film's fearsome warriors are modeled after an entire all-female military army. The Agojie's history begins at least in the first half of the 18th century, while many others think they were founded earlier. Dahomey's King Agojie, who ruled in the 17th century, is believed to have gathered a squad of female elephant hunters to defend the nation. The Agojie, however, are attributed with becoming the royal guard under later Dahomeyan dynasty. Under the rule of King Gezo, the Agojie achieved popularity akin to that shown in the movie, receiving the moniker the Dahomey Amazons from Western Europeans. According to historians, the employment of a sizable female militia was justified by their skill in combat and the high number of male losses from continuing hostilities. Were the real Agojie allowed to marry? The Agojie's vow of chastity and refusal to get married are another topic the movie gets correctly. As a formality, the movie omits the Dahomey Amazons' status as the king's wives. Usually, they don't sleep in his bed with him or have his kids. Nawi has a romantic interest in Malik, a man who is half Brazilian and half Dahomey. At the conclusion of The Woman King, although the romance is brief, Naniska frequently corrects Nawi for disobeying the rules. The movie implies that Naniska's adherence to the celibacy rule is motivated by more than just custom. It may also be a result of her difficult background. It's unclear if all of encounters similar to Nawi's might have happened. The real Agojie warriors were very strict to their creed, though it is documented that many of the women did have relationships with each other. Naniska and Nawi weren't real people, but were based on them. Despite sharing names of actual Agojie recruits, the primary characters Naniska and Nawi are fictional. A little girl named Naniska was observed by a French Navy officer making her first kill in a grisly incident. Although The Woman King is expected to be the largest film to be released in September, it does not accurately capture the level of cruelty that Agojie demonstrated in real life. An enslaved individual was beheaded by the adolescent Naniska without hesitation. According to the naval officer, although Naniska, the general in the movie, might be cruel and icy at times, she also had empathy and compassion. This differs somewhat from the well-known generals that assisted in and participated in the slave trade in Dahomey's past. The final surviving warrior of the Agojie, who was interviewed in 1978, served as a vague inspiration for Nawi. The Jin Nawi, who claimed to have participated in the second Franco-Dahomey in 1892, would not have been alive during King Gezo's reign. When Nawi joined the Agojie in The Woman King, she was 19 years old, but in reality, they recruited many younger girls, some of whom were just 8. The brutality of the real kingdom of Dahomey was much worse. The slave trade, which is largely featured in the movie, was chiefly responsible for Dahomey's income. It is false for The Woman King to portray a country that sought to halt trade. Gina Prince Bythewood, Wood, the director of The Old Guard, has a considerably more heroic picture of Dahomey than most historians do. At the British encouragement, Dahomey did end its slave trade considerably later than depicted in the movie, but it was short-lived as the kingdom's riches began to wane. Not all Agojie were as jovial as Agojie, who was portrayed by Lashana Lynch No Time to Die. Although the movie depicted its female warriors as defenders, they were actually conquests. Dahomey's invasion of neighboring African nations and the abduction of its population might be seen as rather evil. It was common practice for their warriors to bring back the skull and genitalia of the people they had killed. During their invasions, the Agojie would often set the settlements on fire. There are reports of the annual customs of Dahomey, a violent annual religious ritual. The Dahomey people reportedly offered hundreds to thousands of people as sacrifices during these rites. What happened to the Agojie toward the close of the 19th century?